Hey everyone, my name is James Razile. This is Digital Charcuterie. If you love movies, superheroes, dramas, Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, well, anything in the world of movies, please give us a like and a subscribe. It could really, really help us out. I just want to start today's show by saying I'm going to talk about something I really, really love, and that's Star Wars. That's why you're here, and that's what we're going to talk about. I got to talk about Kylo Ren, who is, I would say him and Finn are my two favorite characters in the sequel trilogy. I'm really, really digging what they're doing with those guys. Well, Finn more so in The Force Awakens than in The Last Jedi, but I really, I think JJ is going to hit that one home, and I think we're going to get Finn. Finn's going to play a big part, an awesome part in Episode 9. But I don't want to get into Episode 9 now. I want to talk to you guys about the one thing in The Force Awakens that really drove me nuts. When I watched in the theater, it drove me nuts. When I got home from the theater, it drove me nuts. 2 years later, it drove me nuts. And there's been stuff in the comments. I got to give a shout out to Misconduct in the comments, who was the first one to really kind of be like, you're missing the point on this, and explain what the point was. And that is the interrogation scene in The Force Awakens was one that I admittedly overlooked. I overlooked the importance of the interrogation scene. I did. That's a fault. Going into the movie, I obviously had preconceived ideas of what to expect from these characters. So I never. So when I saw that scene in the theater, my point of view was very different from other people. I mean, when you go see a movie, you interpret things different from other people. That's just the fact of it. And this is a scene that really is integral and important in this sequel trilogy, and I think a lot of people, me included, obviously overlooked that importance as we saw it. But now with The Last Jedi novelization, some light has been shed on that, and that is Rey's power. Rey gets a lot of hate as far as being a Mary Sue and whatnot, and I've said I don't necessarily find her to be a Mary Sue. I just think she is a very poorly underdeveloped character. And Daisy Ridley is great in the role. I think that the reason why people like Rey is because of what she brings to that character. That's what I personally think. I think it's Daisy Ridley is really what people are liking. It's not so much Rey, because I don't see a lot of growth in Rey. I've got a lot of cool comments about that. I'm going to do other videos to discuss that, but right now I got to talk about this. So from my point of view, Rey is strong in the Force. Why is she strong in the Force? None of it makes sense. And when you watch The Last Jedi, the movie, when it ends, you go, okay, so she's basically a vessel for the Force. She's just Anakin Skywalker without them saying she's Anakin Skywalker. She is just a chosen one, but in this new Star Wars era, they're not going to give her that moniker. They're not going to refer to her as the chosen one. She's just going to be Rey, who's just a person. Fine. I felt a little strange. She does the lessons with Luke. We don't see the third lesson, obviously, which is going to be on the DVD or the digital copy stuff on Tuesday. You'll get that. And, that was my one weakness. I said, I wish she got more training. I wish I could understand how she grew in the Force. And then this book hits us. And this book, for the REYLO shippers, they're all throwing confetti, going crazy right now. And and the fans that don't accept REYLO, that can't wrap their heads around REYLO, they still there's still an out for them to kind of be right. So really, right now, in the comments, guys, relax. I'm not going to say anyone is right on REYLO or wrong on REYLO. I will say, for me, the evidence is leaning more towards REYLO than not. And this interrogation scene is a big, big factor, because it seems the REYLO shippers, while it started off as, the fan fiction and all that fun stuff that they do online, when you start to do research on it and they start to do research on it, you realize, oh damn, there's more to this. And J.J. Abrams kind of alludes to it in the commentary, and Ryan Johnson said, the fun thing he had doing was because of that interrogation scene, that was his favorite part of the movie. He got to explore more of that, and he did that in Force Bonds, which a lot of people, crapped on him for. But Force Bonds have been around in the Star Wars universe for a long, long time. He obviously has that famous tweet where he pulled out a Jedi book, and it was from 2010 or 12 or something. Anyway, but still in Raven, they also had a Force Bond. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, there was said that when they fought together, that they were in sync with each other. Padawan and Master were in sync with each other, and we see this in the throne room scene. We see Rey and Kylo are very, very much in sync with each other. And this all comes from the interrogation room scene when Kylo does He's trying to use a Jedi mind trick on Rey. And what happens instead of... So we know that Jedi mind tricks... People forget this part. Is Jedi mind tricks can only work on the weak-minded. That's the thing. They have to have a weak mind. That's why Stormtroopers will work no problem. And that's why good old Watto, it ain't going to work on my boy Watto. Or Jabba. It didn't work on Jabba either. So we forget about that. So it can only work on weak minds. Obviously, Rey kind of raised herself on carte blanche. It's a tough cookie. So she's strong-minded, strong-willed. Kylo goes into that mind, and instead of mind tricking her and getting the information they wanted that he believed he could get out, instead he unlocks something within her. The Force has always lived in Rey because Rey's purpose in this trilogy is to be a conduit for the light side of the Force. Where there is light, there is dark. Where there's dark, there is light. When darkness rises, the light is there to meet it, as Snoke says. And because Kylo Ren was drifting so deep down the rabbit hole of the dark side, a light side presence needed to erupt, and there we have Rey. And I'm not sure how the timeline works on that, to be honest, because there is a 10-year age gap between the two, so they're not twins. There's a 10-year age gap between Rey and Kylo Ren. And when Kylo was 10, I'm sure we're going to learn more. I would love to learn more. I'm thinking maybe around 10 is when... because in Bloodline, he would be in his 20s. If you've read the Bloodline novel, he'd be in his 20s, and Luke is training him at that point. As far as Leia knows, Luke is training him. We don't know in the timeline. And plus, when you watch the flashbacks of The Last Jedi, we don't know, the age, but we know that it's only a few years before what we're seeing. So when he's 10, maybe the dark side really starts to creep up in him. Maybe that's when he first meets Snoke, and it's the first meeting with Snoke that signals the light side, and Rey is, and then the child born is Rey. And I'm not saying she's she's a miracle birth or anything. I think she does have parents, and they are drunks on Jakku. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go in that because, as far as the villains have done in these movies, I think I've said this in the past, is Count Dooku didn't lie, Vader hasn't lied, and now I'm going to take Kylo at his word and say that he didn't lie. And the novel kind of hints that he didn't lie, because when he tells Rey, "Your parents were nothing. You come from nothing," she kind of mentally responds like he was right, is kind of what they say. So she acknowledges that and whatnot. So the light side is now born to go head to head with the dark side, and it's in that interrogation room. So he unlocks this in the interrogation room, and she sees his memories. She learns the Force through that moment. It's kind of like the Matrix. Now, my opinion on it is I feel like it's a cop-out. I really do. When people were telling me this, misconduct once again, shout out to you, but when people were telling me, I even said that sounds like a bit of a cop-out. Like, okay, you unlocked the mystery of the Force in my mind, and now I can use it. And this is, again, the problem I'm having with Rey is well, we need Rey to be a Jedi. Well, just make her a Jedi and mind trick. Yeah, she'll mind tricked her way into it, and that's how it happened. And it's like, well, part of what's in when you watch fantasy films, especially, think of Lord of the Rings. Frodo just doesn't magically wind up and destroy the ring. There's a journey, and he kind of has to, and he has to grow in that journey and learn. He gets there are things there, and Rey. It's not even Daisy really just said at a Star Wars Live Q&A that she sees no weakness. She does not think Rey has any weaknesses, which, again, the cop-out isn't that it's not that she's the Mary Sue, it's that the cop-out is they need that to be the case because they need the light side to erupt within her, and the light side really doesn't have any weaknesses, and the light side is not going to be corrupted by the dark side, but you have the dark side in Kylo Ren, and these two going. So from that, she can see all of his past. She can learn the ways of the Jedi. And that's when Snoke says, or when Kylo refers to how she's getting stronger by the minute and whatnot. He knows because he is also tapped into her mind. And he can now see what she's seen. He can see her past, and he can see, not the future, but obviously he doesn't need to know anything. So he doesn't even really care when he sees it. He doesn't, and that's why he doesn't so much acknowledge it until she leaves that chamber. Then he's like, oh, okay, so I saw that was on purpose, and now she knows what's going on. And at the end, he says, you need a teacher, because again, he can see within her, and he knows that she is not there yet. She knows that she has these powers, but she doesn't fully comprehend what they are, and it is more than just lifting rocks. And that's how Rey's powers are basically being concocted in the sequel trilogy, is through Kylo Ren. Rey exists lightsaber holding, wielding Rey exists because of Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren created the hero of the trilogy, which is a reverse of the villain the hero creates the villain and all the superhero tropes and whatnot. The hero always creates the villain. Now we've got the villain creating the hero, and that leads into the importance of them together in 9. How does Snoke play out in 9? If Snoke plays out, I've got an idea for that. I'll probably drop another video later tomorrow night on Snoke and the end. And REYLO is an end game of 9, and it's through what we've just learned in this novelization, through the fact that Kylo Ren is he's nothing without Rey, and Rey is nothing without Kylo. And you gotta think of it kind of like the Joker and Batman in the Dark Knight, where they complete each other. You know, they complete each other. Rey can't exist without Kylo, and Kylo can't exist without Rey. And if they do, the Force is all out of whack and disjointed. And that's going to cause a problem for the ending of the Skywalker saga. That's how it is. Either you can go 2 routes, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Are they going to go the route of babies? Are they going to procreate and have new Skywalker lineage down the line, so that if Disney and Lucasfilm, 10 years from now, like, whoa, man, we got to go back to Skywalkers, they have that? Or do they both die? The outcome for them both is going to be the same, I think, because of this connection, because of that interrogation scene. That interrogation scene is now the most crucial scene in the sequel trilogy. Without that scene, nothing matters. Episode 9 can't happen. Because of that scene, Rey would not go to Ahch-To to meet Luke, to want to train with Luke, because she would not acknowledge that that's within her. I know she says it's always been there, so it sounds like she's known from early ages that she's had this power within her, but it was the unlocking by Kylo, I believe, that did it. And through that unlocking, she can see him and he can see her, and then Snoke uses that to create this Force bond between them, which can only be done between a master and an apprentice. And in this scenario, Kylo is her master, and she's the Padawan or apprentice in this case. In a really mucked up sort of way, that's how it's working out here. And so Snoke uses that, but they see each other, and that's why this is where the REYLO thing for me is a little bit validated. And that's everyone's like, but she calls him a monster. And yeah, and then she closes the door at the end. But she knows Kylo. She knows what's at the heart of Ben Solo. And if there is a redemption arc for Ben Solo, it's in Rey, and it's in their Force connection, and it's through the REYLO. And I've said this again, I don't necessarily think that they're going to embrace in a romantic kiss, but they're going to feel each other's pains, and that's what's going to drive episode 9, from what I can tell. But that's in the Last Jedi novelization. So there you go. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. REYLO, no? REYLO, yes? Rey yay, or Rey no? Let me know in the comments below. Again, give us a subscribe, a thumbs up if you like this video. Thumbs up or down if you didn't like it, whatever, it's all good. But I'm going to be doing my episode 9 finale idea video tomorrow. That'll go up. And also, guys, tomorrow, Monday, Avengers Infinity War. Behind the scenes apparently is dropping, and then Tuesday we're getting a new trailer. I'll be covering all that, all I can. Hopefully on Tuesday with the trailer, I'll be talking about that with Josh from the Den of Nerds. But until next time, guys, thanks a lot, and ciao for now.